Hey, y'all. Welcome to Wealthy and Worthy Wednesday. So today, you just have me to start. I'm Dr. Tiana. For those of you all who are not familiar, and I am the founder of Wealthy and Worthy, and we are having a special live today. So today we are hosting a live discussion about life after a breast cancer diagnosis. We are talking about real stories. We are talking about real support. We are talking about the real science behind this disease that affects 1 in 8 women. So today, before we introduce the panel, because this is such a heavy and can be a very, very heavy topic, we are going to start with our moderator, Miss Naya Harris, and she is actually going to lead us in a grounding today. So we are going to introduce Miss Naya Harris. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I know I can't see you, but I know you're here with me.
Yes, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we are going to share the what do you call it?
The video?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Share the video.
Yes.
So that everybody can be just have their stress reduced and just really center and be grounded in their bodies, so that we can be present for this time together. So let me make sure that I can do this because
yes, Dr. Tiana, while you're pulling that up, if you are willing and you're able, I invite you to close your eyes and immerse yourself in this guided breath grounding activity. As Dr. Tiana said, having such a heavy topic or heavy conversation, I personally have found that this is a great place to start and to set us up before we have this discussion.
Okay, now let me share. It's like doing something weird here.
And we're going to thank you in advance for your grace around technology.
Okay, it's not letting me share. So this is what we're going to do. We are just going to play the sound.
Okay, that's just fine.
And I'm going to come off screen and let you do that, actually. All right.
All right. So you are going to hear some forest, rain, green noise in the background here in just a moment. And as I mentioned before, I invite you, if you're willing and able, to just close your eyes and just fully be present, fully immerse yourself in this moment, this grounding moment. And, we don't always get an opportunity to take a moment for ourselves, to take a breath, to really center ourselves. So this is a time to do that. Great way to reset too. All right.
Okay, Naya, so you can't hear it. You can't hear it.
I don't hear it. No, but is it available to the audience?
It is, but it's not. I don't know why you can't hear it.
You know what? I can do it without too.
Okay, let's just do it without. Listen, we did our best. We had plans for y'all, but it didn't work. We gonna roll with it, all right? So again, thanks for your grades. All right. So I'll just let you take it over, Naya. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. All right. So I again invite you to close your eyes. And I'm going to guide you in some breathing work here. So just kind of sit upright if you can, close your eyes. You're going to take a really deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. In through the nose for 3 and out through the mouth for 4, and I will guide you. So you're going to go in through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. In through the nose again. 1, 2, 3. hold it, and out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you let out, make sure you let out all that air. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. And out through the mouth. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold it. Hold it. Hopefully you held it. And out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Big breath. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want you to stay right there. Keep your eyes closed for just another moment, just another second. And when you feel comfortable and ready, go ahead and open your eyes back up. And what I'm going to ask is, because we can't see you, we can't hear you, that we are going to ask you to exclusively use the chat to interact with us. And so I'd like you to just put one word about that activity that we just did right now. Was it helpful? Was it annoying? One word about that grounding activity just now. I'm going to take a sip of tea while you're doing that.
Okay, Naya, let me double check, but I don't think we have anybody sharing yet.
Okay, no problem.
Which is totally cool. We are still here and showing up. So let's jump in if you're ready. Thank you.
I'm absolutely ready.
In that moment of reflection and grounding. I think it's really important that we prepare our bodies and our minds to enter into these type of conversations. Oh, it looks like somebody did comment. They said it was helpful. Their one word was helpful. Welcome, Angela.
Perfect.
Dr. Paul is here too. So awesome. All right. So if we're ready, I can welcome the other ladies, or do you want to do your intro first?
Yes, please bring them in. Bring them in. Yes.
Hi. Ladies here with us today. All right, Naya, I'm passing it off to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining our 90-minute panel discussion today for our topic, Life After Breast Cancer Diagnosis. Real stories, real science, real support. So this isn't just a discussion about breast cancer. This is a reflective and truth-centered conversation. So just a few housekeeping items, okay? So again, because I can't see or hear you, I'm gonna need you to exclusively use that chat to interact with us. So go ahead, and if you wanna clap it up, clap it up. If you wanna chime in via the chat. Please do that, and the chat will be monitored. This panel discussion is being recorded, and so you don't have to, feverishly write things down and say, "Oh, I wish I could share." Guess what? When we're all done here, you're going to be able to share immediately right after the event. So don't worry. And last thing, there is a resource document that is going to be sent out to everyone who registered, and so I just want you to be aware of that and watch your inbox for that. And so with that said, I want you to sit back, be present, minimize as many distractions as you can. I know it's tempting. These devices are crazy, right? Flip it over if you can, put it on Do Not Disturb, silence it, but really be present for this conversation, this all too important conversation. I want to go down the line, start off by going down the line and having everyone just briefly introduce themselves, but I probably should introduce myself too, right? So I am your moderator for this virtual event. My name is Naya Harris, a professional speaker, host, moderator, MC, facilitator, delighted to be here and be in company with these ladies. And I will have, can I just call out?
Yeah, totally.
Perfect. I'm going to start with, as you are on my screen, so I'm going to start with Watchin Marshall. Welcome, Watchin, and go ahead.
Thank you, Naya.
Yes.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Watson Marshall Campbell. I am a breast cancer thriver of 5 years and a survivor self-care strategist. And what I'll say very quickly is, my journey really forced me to shift from that survival mode, right? Like getting through day to day to actually focusing on how I can take ownership of my health and really live intentionally. And so for the past 5 years or so, I really have been intentional about building a lifestyle that really supports health and wellness after my diagnosis. So I'm really passionate about helping women who are going through the same thing and overcoming survival mode. So that is a little bit about me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Watson. Next, I have Daniela. Daniela, hello.
Hi. How you guys? You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Daniela Thompson. I am also a breast cancer survivor and thriver. My diagnosis 2-year anniversary is coming up in July. But it's kind of a lengthy process through chemotherapy, surgery, radiation. So all of that actually just ended almost a year ago, last March. So I'm still fresh into this, but I was very open with my journey, helping so many women and just sharing my journey because it's a scary, difficult journey, but you can get through it and you can be not only a survivor, but a thriver after it as well. So happy to be here as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Daniela. Dr. Tisha is in the house with us. Dr. Tisha, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I bring you greetings from South Carolina. So yes, Tisha Felder. I'm an associate professor and researcher at the University of South Carolina. I am honored to be a part of this panel, sharing this space with these amazing thrivers who have so much lived experience to share that will benefit all of you who are joining us today. And my role here is to really just pair up the science with their lived experience and also get more insights on of research that we likely still need to do that will be more relevant to those of you who have who are living with breast cancer. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for that, Dr. Tisha. And last but not least, and our organizer, right, Dr. Tiana. Let's clap it up for her. Clap, 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 clap. Dr. Tiana, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Naya. Yeah, so I'm definitely coming to this conversation to add value, but also to learn as well from the other ladies and from Dr. Tisha's current research and insights from that realm. And so I am a thriver. I am 6 years out from my diagnosis. I was actually diagnosed during the pandemic, March of 2020. So we are moving full steam ahead. And as Daniela mentioned, just really wanting to have this conversation to remind all of you that you don't just have to survive, that you get to thrive on the other side of this. And so that is my heart for this event and putting this event together and inviting these amazing women to join me in this space. And so I'm really looking forward to the conversation today. So thank you, Naya, for hosting.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. I want to share that you're going to hear a word that I'm gonna say coined by you, Dr. Tiana, that instead of using the word survivor, we're gonna say thriver. So for this conversation, we're gonna say thriver. So we want to talk about thriving after the breast cancer. So I'm so delighted to have the thrivers here. I do have all of the questions from the participants or from all the everyone who registered, but I also sprinkled in a few of my own questions as well. And so I'm gonna just, without further ado, just jump right in. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
The sound on my end is going in and out. Is it the same for you guys?
Same for me, yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Okay.
It's going in and out.
Okay, give us a second. Let me see.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. You know, every time I'm on the cusp and I'm like, this is gonna be a good conversation, the technology.
I know, I can't. Yeah, I know.
Start out
There
with,
she is.
with a question from one of the registrants, which was,
I can't hear anything.
Yeah,
no,
it's going in and out for me too.
I don't know what is happening. Okay, so the viewers are saying it's the same. Okay, give us 1 second, guys. Give us 1 second. We're gonna get this right. All right, y'all, we're back.
There we are. We're back in business.
Yep, I hear it now.
all right, here's
Perfect.
everybody. Yes, okay. Again, thank you for your grace when there's some technical issues. Yes. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We've got so many questions. Like I said, I sprinkled in a few of my own. So we're just going to get started.
Do it.
So my first question for you is, upon learning of your diagnosis, what was your first thought, your first emotion, your first reaction? Watching.
Upon learning of my diagnosis, I think my first emotion was definitely shock. Because I always tell people I was blindsided completely. If I hadn't found a lump in my right breast, I would have not had any indication that anything was wrong. Like prior to diagnosis, I had and I got 2020 was the pandemic was a really, really stressful year for me. And so in 2021, I had a lot of different things occurring at once. I had just bought a house with my husband. We did renovations. We got married in the same year. They always say don't get married and buy a house in the same year because it's like catastrophic as far as stress is concerned. But immediately after that is when I had gotten diagnosed. So I think that stress played a huge role in that. But I was really, really shocked because I didn't have any indication that anything would have been wrong. So I think shock, fear is a huge huge thing because, and I'm sure the other survivors on the call can speak to this, like when you get that diagnosis, you're like, okay, what's next? What's happening? You know, you don't know. The train takes off very quickly and you have to make some very hard decisions very quickly. So I would say shock and fear were the two emotions that I experienced immediately.
Thank you for that. Journey. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. Dr. Tiana, what were your immediate thoughts upon receiving diagnosis?
I would say very similar to watching.
And I can't hear anything she's saying or you're saying.
Oh, you can't hear me, Daniela? Can you hear me? Thumbs up.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
I can't hear for some reason. I can't hear Naya.
Oh no.
So it must be on your side because we can hear her.
If she signs out and signs back in, do you think that might help?
Yeah, let's try that.
You know, the best part is that everyone who's on this call right now, our audience, they've all been through this. So they know. They know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can get it to work. Can you hear us now, Daniela? Okay, our guests are saying you can hear us as well.
I can't hear anything. Watching, I heard what you said, but I can't hear anyone else.
That's so weird. Okay.
It's so weird. I can hear everything you say just clear as day, but I can't hear anyone else talk.
Huh.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, but you can't hear me or Naya.
But Dr. Tiana and Naya, I can't hear them.
How about we can like maybe pass the questions along to her and she can respond.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That works.
That's a good idea.
Do like a popcorn style.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
Okay, so yes, the question was, upon receiving your diagnosis, what was your first thought, your first reaction, your first emotion?
The question, Daniela, was upon receiving your diagnosis, what was your first thought, your first emotion that you had?
Got it. Okay. Well, almost piggyback off like what you said, fear. You're so scared. Mine too came completely left field. I wouldn't say I had any signs that would make me think that that was like, some people go through or get a health scare and they're like, I did have this symptom or I just knew something was off in my body. That was not the case. With me, I literally found a lump in my left breast out of the blue. I joke all the time and say, 2 weeks prior, I was on a cruise with one of my good friends for a birthday. We're in swimsuits and had no idea. It doesn't run in my family. I don't have a strong family history of it. So it was just so shocking and scary. And just you have a million things running through your head. I have 2 children, thinking about them and graduated college, got a house and a couple investment properties and took off in real estate. So sadness too was a big thing. Like I've worked so hard to get where I'm at and I finally feel like I'm just reaching, beginning to bite the fruits of my labor and now this. So just really scared. But for me personally, I really leaned into my faith through everything that I had added and just remained positive. But yeah, like you said, fear, shock. And then things start to move really, really quickly and you have to make a lot of big decisions fairly quickly. So
yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Dr. Tiana, I don't know if I heard the rest of your answer. Same question to you.
Yeah, very, very similar to those ladies. I will say the first thing that actually did come out of my mouth, though.
Sorry, was there another question? Because then we're going to have to I can only hear you watching.
Oh, okay. Dr. Tiana's answering the question right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question that actually came out of my mind or out of my mouth to the physician was, what about babies? Because at the time that I was diagnosed, my husband and I were family planning. And so it was just a real for me, it was top of mind. And so that was my very first question. And I was like, well, what about this? I need to know about this. What does this mean? And I had a wonderful, wonderful physician who literally sat with us for 3 hours and went through every single question, explained every single part of the process, and helped me understand more of my choices as things unfolded. So I feel very grateful in that regard.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. And Dr. Tisha, I know that you don't have, you haven't had a diagnosis, but because you are a researcher, you're so valuable to this conversation. So I am going to be leaning on you a little bit to ask you a few questions. And I do have a specific question for you. Get my notes together here. When you think about all the work that you've done in research, I'm curious, what makes you hopeful? Since we're talking about survivors. No, not survivors. We're talking about thrivers. We're talking about thrivers. So what makes you hopeful?
Well, I think what makes me really hopeful is that there is a shift. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. But I think that there's a shift in research in particular, where we are slowly but surely beginning to value more of the voices of thrivers with their lived experience. And so I think that the more we continue to move in that direction, and by that I mean, I think there's different ways that you can include the voices of individuals with lived experience. You can have, I'm sure you guys probably heard of like community advisory boards and, things like that. But there's so many different ways, and it's really kind of on a spectrum to the extent of the involvement. But I think that we're moving more in the direction of understanding that we've done a lot of research and there's still so much we don't know. And I think especially when you start looking at treatment and all these different interventions, when you're looking at who's participating and who's not, we've got to learn more about that. And 90% of the time, it's not because people aren't interested and aren't willing. There's usually other barriers that we have yet to uncover or acknowledge. And so I think, this conversation in and of itself is part of that example of hope. Is bringing different people to the table with different experience, but valuing particularly, again, the lived experience, because you can, even for me, I can talk about this, but I haven't lived the experience. And yes, I have very close friends and family who have and are currently living with this experience, but there's something to be said about involving people who literally understand. And so I think that is where my greatest hope is that we are doing this a little bit more. And I think the more we do it, the better research will be and the better answers we'll have.
I love that.
Is everyone having the same signal issue? Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't know what is going on today. I've literally done this show for almost a year every Wednesday, and this has never happened.
They don't want us to have the conversation.
I mean, clearly. What is going on? Oh my goodness. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let me text Naya.
I cannot hear Dr. Tiana at all.
She's just trying to figure out what's going on in text.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Because I can only hear Dr. Tisha and you watching. I can't hear anyone else.
Let me I have the questions from the people who registered and submitted questions for us to answer today. So I'm going to go through those and I will just moderate and we will just have to kick it back and forth. And Watson or Dr. Tisha, you will have to.
Do you think I should try to exit and re-enter to see if maybe that will solve it?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So let me look at these questions and I'll let them figure that out in the meantime. All right. So questions. Okay. So Watson and Dr. Tisha, you may even be able to speak to this from the researcher side, right? So one of the questions that came through was, how do you get through the initial fear, right? And we've been talking about, all of us have shared, that is like the first feeling that surfaces when this diagnosis is laid out, right? So from your experience watching, like, what would you say were the things that helped you the most, like, move through the fear?
Okay. Well, number one, for sure, as Daniela was talking about earlier, faith. You have to, lean on your faith. And I know everyone believes different things, but for me, I feel like that was, or I know for sure that was the key component to me overcoming the fear, because I'm in such a different place than I was, 5 years ago. I remember I had a moment where after I was recently diagnosed, I was at work and I saw the announcement of the passing of a popular hair care. She was a Black hair care brand owner, and she had passed from breast cancer. And I just remember I started bawling at work because I was so distraught, and just like, that was like a defining moment for me in my journey because it hit me so hard. I'm like, wow, this is real. This is my reality.
Yeah.
And so I really had to lean on my faith. I think it's so important on this journey to speak life over your situation. When I get those fearful thoughts, I literally speak back to them out loud. If someone were around me, they'd be like, is she talking to herself? Like when those intrusive thoughts come about, just fear and rehearsing the worst case scenarios, I literally speak back out loud. For me, that's scripture. I speak back scripture to rebuke that. But I think also doing what you can control. If you are, there's so much on this journey that we can't control, but if you can really double down on, just trying to live healthy and really live your life to the fullest and walk in purpose. And there's so much I could say about this, but I feel like purpose is really healing. Like when you're doing things like this, we're survivors and thrivers, we're showing up, having the conversations, it really kind of overcomes and takes over that fear, because you're like doing what you can control. You're helping other women. You're using your journey as a means to overcome, just by sharing your lived experience. And so all of those components, from spirituality to walking in purpose to living a healthy lifestyle and controlling what you can control, really does help. It really does help you overcome that fear. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I probably cried in the shower for like a year straight after my diagnosis, silently and secretly. But I'm in such a better place that, my life is really been blessed in spite of everything. So
I love that. I love that. Okay, Naya, welcome back. Welcome back, Daniela. So
I can hear you now. Yay.
oh,
yay.
Daniela, can you hear me too?
Yep, I can hear you. Great. Yep.
So,
I don't know what that was all about, but glad it's fixed.
yes. So Naya, I ended up just pulling up the questions that were submitted, and we were talking through the question around how to get through the fear, because that's how we kind of started, of like, what was the first feeling? And so many people talked about fear. And so maybe we can pass it to Daniela and see like how did you, or what are some like maybe key takeaways that you could share with how you were able to kind of maybe not get rid of the fear, but still move despite the fear.
Absolutely. Great question. So I really leaned into my faith. You just got to try, just telling myself, you got to trust God, lots of deep, long conversations with God. But also, you all got to put yourself like, it may not be easy, but this is what you're up against. What are you going to do about it? So again, in my mind, I have kids to live for. I got to fight and throw everything I have at this. So, live in Minnesota, blessed to have Mayo. I knew in my mind, I want to go to Mayo. fought to get in there. It's a kind of a lengthy process, but I did all the steps. Linked with the naturopath herbalist who's located right in North Minneapolis. She was amazing. I said, this is what I'm up against. Tell me everything to do, and I'm gonna do it. I went completely vegan. I did water fasting for nearly 2 weeks straight. Was taking walks around the lake every single day. So I mean, it is scary, but you also just have to put this mindset like this is what you're up against. You've got to throw everything that you have at it, and I did that. And just you have a new gratitude of life. So also just looking at life in a different positive light despite the storm that you're in. I think mindset really plays a huge part. But just like the other thrivers that I cried, there were so many nights and days I still cry. Like I still feel like I have aftershock. Like, did I really just go through that? Like I said, I just ended my journey last March. So it's
Yeah.
still very fresh to me. But also I find joy in helping other women too, because just like that fear that we all had, when other women come to me, they too have that same fear. And find your tribe. Like it's okay to link with other women who have been down that same road. I leaned into those women and then also joined a bunch of private Facebook groups and online forums of women going through it too. That really helped me.
Love that.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I want to jump back to Dr. Tisha for just a moment. So, our three thrivers here, right? What is the common denominator? Relatively young Black women. I'm curious if you know the statistics on that and if you could share a little bit about that with us.
Well, I will just say in general, for Black women in particular, as I'll say this, and I was thinking about something that came up in what you all were sharing as well. But one of the studies that I helped do the interviews for was around triple negative breast cancer, and so specifically, this type of breast cancer is a breast cancer that typically impacts younger women and disproportionately impacts Black women.
Yeah.
And so I think some of the things that you brought up, like Tiana, around concerns about having children, these things happen again, kind of at these younger ages. And so some of the work that we did aligns so much with everything that you guys are saying. The importance of support, whether it was online support, some family support. A lot of these women in particular, again, younger women, they really leaned on others who had similar lived experience. So it was very critical for them to be in spaces with people who literally understood what they were going through. But it also was very important for them to be in spaces with other Black women who understood what they were going through. And so I think that was actually something that was really impactful, because I think what they were really explaining was that, when one participant, alluded to the fact that, when you kind of go through the treatment experience, they're talking generally about treatment, but they're not talking about you specifically as a Black woman who's getting this treatment. And so, so I can certainly say that with these populations, when they are younger, they do have similar experiences, but also similar barriers. And there are things that they have unique needs that maybe cancer survivors who maybe are diagnosed at later ages do not. And so some of these needs that they have need to be more tailored, kind of based on that time of diagnosis.
Sure. Thank you for that. When you mentioned support just a moment ago, it's a perfect segue or tee up for this question. How did the diagnosis affect your friendships and relationships? Or did it?
Yeah, I would say for me, when you go through a journey like navigating cancer, you really have to learn how to lean on people. For me, I think I learned how to
hear me.
I can hear you. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear.
Okay, good. I learned how to give people grace, because sometimes I always say people don't know what you're going through unless they've been through it. There's a kind of understanding that you only have if you've been through a breast cancer journey, and other people around you, whether, no matter how close they are or who they are to you, they can't fully understand that. And so I had to learn to really give people grace. I know there was a time in my journey where I felt like in the beginning,
Mhm.
everybody was calling, everybody was, checking in on you, everybody's surrounding you. And then there gets to a point where you're just like, okay, nobody's called me to check on me. I haven't heard from this person, what's going on. And I really, when I had to pray about it, and what kind of downloaded to me was that because I'm such a person that shows up like I don't need help, like I was still, traveling and thriving and doing all the things, people don't really know how to support you or that you even need support. So what I learned from that is that you really have to be honest about how you feel, about what you need, tell your friends how they can support you. Not everyone needs to be supported in the same way. So you have to be really vulnerable. It forces you to open up to the people around you that truly care about you and say, this is what I need. This is how I need you to show up for me during this time. And, be honest about some of the things that people say to you. And I know you ladies probably can attest to this. People will say things that are kind of like very triggering. For example, when you share with someone that you're a survivor or you've been through breast cancer, they'll say, "Oh, well, my such and such passed away from
Yeah.
cancer," and you're like,
Right.
that is not helpful at all, but people don't know that. So being able to be vulnerable and tell them in the moment, how you want them to support you, what things might be triggering for you, and just how to show up for you, and being honest about that is something that I would recommend for anyone that's on the journey and wants to just strengthen their relationships with other people.
Let's pass it to Daniela because Naya is still going in and out.
Oh yeah. So it's crazy because I have to piggyback off everything that she said. I'm hyper independent. So I'm the type of person, I really don't like asking people for help. So I'm not gonna lie, I really struggled with that because like she said, anytime someone gets diagnosed in the beginning, you feel like you have all this love, you have all this support, but as things kind of fade away, that kind of fades away too, especially if you're still living your everyday life, being positive. I thank God that I really didn't have any adverse, like I never felt sick after my chemo sessions. I just felt really tired. Um, but I still wanted that support. But like she said, I had to learn to give some people grace because it's like, they're like, yeah, you got cancer, but I mean, you're looking good, you're still
Mm-hmm.
traveling, you're still, living life. So I had to have some deep conversations with people after and just be honest, like, that really hurt my feelings, like I'm over here fighting for my life and y'all are just acting like everything's like that was really hurtful to me. But I
Yeah.
also I'm glad we're having these types of conversations because it can hopefully educate friends and family out there that also too, um when you're in it, I didn't necessarily know what type of support I needed at that time, if that's okay, because on one hand I'm just feeling like I'm just grateful to not be sick, or I'm just grateful to, so I didn't really, on one hand, you could say, don't be scared to ask, but I didn't necessarily in that space know what to ask for. So I would encourage anyone out there listening or watching, or friends or family, to almost be proactive. Like, you know what? I know that they are going back and forth to doctor appointments. Maybe let me just Venmo them gas money. Or you know what? I know they have a lot on their plate. Let me just say, hey, food on me tonight. Or, you got to sometimes think ahead. Or, you know what? I'm coming over your house. I'm going to take care of laundry for you and your family this week. Or, you know what? You have kids are coming over to my house for the weekend. It
Yeah.
sometimes doesn't feel comfortable for people to ask those things because also we don't want to be viewed as a burden.
Right.
So yeah, it's a weird space to navigate because you want help and you honestly need it, but you also don't want to feel like a burden and you may not know really what you need in that space. So again, like I said, I would just encourage those out there to sometimes just think ahead. You know what that person is battling. Think of what are nice gestures that can just take the load off of them, even if it's just a little bit, because I promise you the little things really mean the most to a lot of people. And I'm one of them.
I love that.
Can I ask a question? Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
now I
not
can hear
moderator,
everybody.
but
I don't know
so
why.
when you said something, it just made me think. So I have a family member right now who's going through prostate cancer, and everything you're saying around like knowing that you need help, but not knowing how to ask or feeling like a burden.
Mhm.
And
Am I back?
so
Go ahead. We're listening.
but I guess so my question is how to help, because I think there's oftentimes, and not always, that some people don't have strong support groups. They just do not, support systems.
Right.
But when you have people who are asking, like, what is a good approach for them to help you know that they're being genuine in their desire to help? Because I think the flip side is also, it's very difficult when you see somebody that you love and you care about who's having challenges and they won't allow you to help, if that makes sense. And not to say that you are intentionally not doing that, because I also understand on the flip side how it could feel. And I think especially for us as Black women, we're very self-sufficient. We typically just know what to do, how to do, when to do, like we're so used to moving like that. And so I guess what would be your advice for people who are in those support systems for people who are diagnosed? Like, how can we approach the situation in a way that we, I guess, make it very clear that we just really want to help, and we want to help the way you want to be helped. So I will say that too, because I think sometimes people offer help that you don't want or need.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that you probably are aware of that would be helpful, that people could actually do. So sorry for the long question, but
No, I think that's
I
great.
love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I can speak to what was helpful for me in my experience. And largely it was people really, Tisha, like showing up in the exact same way that you just showed up. Like being super honest, right? Just saying, like, I don't know what you're going through, but I imagine that it's a whole lot. What do you need? How can I help? And throw out idea. Okay, would this be helpful? What do you think about this? Or, maybe I'll just come over today and bring groceries. How does that sound? Because when you are asking the person who's already overwhelmed to then give you a list of things that need to be done, it's like, once again, you're playing quarterback, right?
Yeah.
You're having to now do more work, right?
More work, yeah.
To get a list together of the things that I like and send that. And, and so I think just being honest and just being like, this is really hard. And I can't fix it. And but I can sit here with you, right? Like, some of the best support that showed up for me were when people were just willing to just be supportive silently.
Yeah.
Like, one of my best friends flew across the US. I lived in Utah at the time, and just showed up at my door. No agenda, no what are we doing while I'm here? No, nothing. She just showed up to just sit with me. And sometimes, especially when you are used to carrying the load by yourself, you need people that can just say and show, I'm here. If it does come to your mind that you need something, right? I'm on it, right? I think we underestimate the value of presence. One of my other best friends, she came when I did fertility. We did fertility preservation when I was going through my breast cancer treatment, right? Her and her husband came and just loved on me and my husband for 4 days. Drove me back and forth to appointments so that my husband could take a break. For us, just showed up. And I think so many times, especially in this society, people love to be busy, and that's fine. But if you want to stay busy and not be supportive, then just keep your distance, because it's more hurtful when you are in close proximity and you don't see me. Like, rather you just go on about your business and
Yes.
connect when I'm back in good health, maybe, right? Like, I think it's just really important that we call a thing a thing. Like, this is really hard to navigate. What do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People respond to authenticity.
Absolutely.
Love that.
I'll let the other ladies share if they have anything else that they want to share about what that could look like. But that was really most helpful for me.
I can piggyback off what Dr. Tiana said. Like, it's already overwhelming enough when the fresh diagnosis. So I don't think people should ask. I mean, I think they're asking with pure intentions, like, what do you need? But it's almost like you're giving me, like you said, another task. I really don't even know what I need right now. And it is, like I said, I cannot emphasize this space because it is such a weird space, and it is hard because some people like, look, I don't know, do you want us to just show up at your doorstep? Do you not? Do you need space? And when I thought about it, I was like, you know what, you're right, because upon initial diagnosis, that would have pissed me off, to be real. Like, I like, I need to process what just went on. So it is such a weird space. On one hand, you want the love and you want the support, but on another hand, you're like, I'm crying nonstop. I gotta process this. I just want to be alone and talk to God. So I would really just say, at least for me, everyone's different, is to just nice gestures, whatever is on someone's heart and they felt, Danella, check your Cash App. I just sent you, or check your front doorstep. There's groceries. Or like one of my clients just left flowers by my car. And it was just the sweetest thing. A lady at my brokerage, she paid for IV infusions just because after chemo, didn't feel sick, but I felt so kind of blah. And she too was a breast cancer survivor. So she said, Danella, I went through this. I had an in-home nurse come to my house, give IV infusions. I paid for the first 3 for you if you want to keep it. So it was just little things like that where I'm like, oh my goodness. So it wasn't bombarding for me, but it was still letting them know, like, I'm on your mind. I necessarily don't, you know what I mean? This is what I want to do for you. So I just feel for people out there, whatever's on your heart to do, just do it. Don't ask them, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? Do you want me? Whatever's on your heart, just do. That's what I found to be most helpful because, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I'm back, you guys. I'm joining from my phone, so hopefully no issues now. Daniela, thank you so much for sharing that. I could hear everything backstage too, so thank you. I wanted to ask another registrant's question, which was, what did you do to get through the diagnosis, but not limit yourself on living life? I thought that was a really great question. Who'd like to take that?
I can go. One of the quotes, and I love a good quote that someone told me, and I got to make sure I get it right, was, it's not about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years. So
love that.
regardless of, how much time or whatever, how are you living the life that you have within the years that you have? So for me, that meant, if I'm being very honest here, breast cancer really wakes you up to your own like mortality, right? Like it's a rude awakening. And for me, that just simply looked like doing all of the things that I want to do unapologetically. Like, it actually made me a lot more brave and courageous and just like, look, I don't have time to be, I'm going to preserve my energy. I'm going to do what I want to do. I've like traveled so much since then, so it's just about realizing and coming to terms with like, okay, I want to have a great life and a great quality of life. So what are the things that I enjoy doing? How can I preserve my peace, preserve my energy? I no longer tolerate so many things that I used to tolerate before diagnosis, because I'm like, I just don't, this is not how I want to live my life. So what you do is really start by deciding how you want to live your life moving forward, and how do you put more life into your life, like by doing the things that you enjoy, figuring out what's important to you, because that's different for everybody. Like, I love to travel. That's like my thing. So I do a lot of it. But what is important to you? What are the things that you've been like putting off, that you just need to do, with this new information that you have? And it's just about switching your mindset to looking at it as a journey, a new lifestyle, and a new way of living that's really intentional and purposeful and fun. Like, because I think the whole point of this conversation is that you can thrive. We're all on here, me and Tiana, me and Daniela, we're all thriving after this diagnosis. And it's really about understanding that it is possible, but you have to be really intentional about it.
Absolutely right.
I love that.
Agree.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
Can you say the question again, Naya?
Yes. What did you do to get through the diagnosis, but not limit yourself on living life?
Okay. The one thing that I will say literally changed the trajectory of my experience was getting more knowledge, right?
Mm.
Because so much of the fear is because you don't know. And when you stay ignorant in anything, this applies to life in general, it's how the enemy keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, I knew that. And so I said, okay, I clearly don't know enough about this, about what's happening, about how the body works, about how disease is just dis-ease in the body. I didn't know enough at that time, right? And so I was like, I'm going to learn every single thing that I possibly can. I am going to talk to everybody that I possibly can. Dr. Tisha was one of the very first people I spoke to after I got my diagnoses. And just understanding even from her of like, these are the questions that you ask when you go to talk to your provider. These are the options that we know based on research that give you the highest probability of this specific outcome that you're hoping to have, right? And so I think just being able to arm yourself with the information, with the knowledge, and being able to advocate for yourself, it doesn't necessarily, again, like I said earlier, it doesn't take away the fear or the panic, but it does allow you to move decisively through it, right? Like for me, I'm never trying to eliminate fear. That's just a waste of my time. But my focus is always, what do I need to move anyway? Right? Because if you're waiting for fear to go away, you're going to be waiting forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually need to arm yourself with the resources, the information, the knowledge, and then, as Watson said, get very clear about what you want.
Yeah.
Because once you do those two things, you can figure out what aligns across those two pieces, and you can pick and choose what type of care you want as you go through that process. So even for Daniela, when she was first diagnosed and we were chatting back and forth, I just said to her, hey, there's this option, find you a natural path, do all the things, right? Because I don't necessarily believe in prescribing my path to somebody, but I absolutely believe in sharing my path with somebody so that they know there's another whole menu of options that you can pull from. And you don't have to do only, chemo radiation treatment, which is just kind of the Western medicine way. You can also do natural ways, right? You can do Eastern medicine. You can pull all sorts of modalities from different types of healing to walk that journey, right? But I think what happens is you get the diagnoses, and because you're getting diagnosed in a medical system, which we all know is not created or designed to serve us, by us, I mean Black women and Black people. And so you're going to this institution to get this diagnosis, and then they're laying out for you a treatment plan that may not align with your preferences, with your desires, with what you really want or how you want to experience this thing. And you have to know there are other options. This is not the only place that can speak to this situation. You can find an integrative doctor, which looks at your whole body as a system and not just at the cancer, right? Because your body is a system. no matter where you have the cancer. It is still part of a larger organism, and there's something that's imbalanced in your body that you have to figure out what that is. So I think just being very clear about educating yourself. That is literally why I wanted to have this panel, because we have so many women. I see, it just breaks my heart every day. I see so many women posting specifically on LinkedIn of new cancer diagnoses. And their first response is to follow exactly what the doctor tells them to do. And I'm always mind blown. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Why are you not asking more questions? Why are you not asking other people? Why are you not looking into the world to see what other people have to say about this? Just because the majority is doing this way does not mean that that's the path that you have to take or should take. Right?
Absolutely.
So for me, it's really important that we share this information specifically with other Black women, because we're already being diagnosed at later stages. We're already being diagnosed younger and younger. I was 34, no family history, right? It has to stop, but it can't just stop by saying, oh, the medical system is trash. No, you need to educate yourself. And you need to get very clear about what you want for yourself. And then you need to speak up. And actually act on it so that you can get the life that you deserve.
And I just want to piggyback, amen to everything you said. But I want to, piggyback. That is so true. Like with me, when I got into the first place in the Twin Cities that could get me in, and I left that appointment honestly feeling worse than had I walked in. And that's crazy, because usually people feel like, yay, I finally have answers. That was not my case. I felt like, this is what you got. Here's how you treat it. Here's the standard of care. We can put a port in you in 2 days. I said, hold up. Like, I am still trying to, for one, just grasp what I have here. But we're not going to put a port in me right now. Like Dr. Tiana said, I need to do my research. Hold on. And like Dr. Tiana said, I'm not so far off where I would deny chemo, but I'm not as just putting on my faith. Yeah, let's throw everything you have at it. I want to talk to my naturopath herbalist. I want to talk to, we have Mayo here. I done my research. MD Anderson in Texas is #1 for breast cancer. And #2, there's a place in New York, I can't remember, and 3 is Mayo. So I said, I don't care if I have to pull out equity from my home to go down to Texas. Let me just do some research here. And I did. I had a conversation with someone at MD Anderson just to be seen. Initially, it was like 30,000. I'm like, sheesh, let me see what Mayo is. And I'm glad I did that, because I was able to get on a clinical trial at Mayo, and I was very open. It is okay to be open with your doctor. I said, look, is there a clinical trial out there where maybe I can try just one chemo drug? Like, I also, because again, like Dr. Tiana said, I went into full research mode. I talked to other people that were in it, and a lot of them sadly were like, yeah, the cancer is gone, but now I have severe neuropathy.
Yes.
Now I have these kidney problems, thyroid problems. So their quality of life, they're like, yeah, I'm 34, but my body, I wake up every morning feeling like I'm 85 years old. For me, I said, I do not want that. So I was a hard advocate. I said, what is out there? And they said, there's a I Spy 2 clinical trial. We start you off with just one chemo drug. We monitor you very, very closely. Now, because you're going to be in a clinical trial, you're going to have to get probably twice as many scans and tests and follow up. Sign me up. I want to be informed. I want to. So, and I'm grateful, because I only had to have one chemo drug only 3 times. Boom, pathological complete response. And I did that in conjunction with all the naturopath things, the fasting. When I got diagnosed, I was considered stage 2 by the size. After the 2-week water fast, nearly a complete holistic lifestyle change, the tumor shrunk so much I was considered stage 1. I was going walking. And so I really think that unique combined approach that was strictly me advocating for myself. No doctor said, do this, and this. This was all off my own research, talking to other women. So I cannot express that enough. You guys have to advocate for yourself and really dive into research mode. Talk to other people. What helped you? Okay, what is your quality of life now going down that route versus what is your quality of life going down this route? I'm not an advocate to tell people what they should or should not do because that's such a deep personal choice, but I am an advocate. Do your research and do what resonates best with you. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely. And I, though, amen to that. And piggybacking on what you both said as well, like it's so important to make an informed decision on this journey because nobody's biological makeup is the same, right?
Yeah.
Like we all have, there's so many different types and stages and levels of breast cancer that you can't, prescribe something on someone else, and it's all very individual. So in
Yeah.
my case, I had the option to do chemotherapy or to not do chemotherapy. I was stage 2, early stage, and it was one of the most hard, difficult decisions that I had to ever make in my life because we know chemotherapy is the gold standard of
Yeah.
cancer treatment, and I didn't know anybody else around me that was diagnosed and didn't do it. So I had to make a very brave, quick decision. The doctors were rushing me to do it.
Yeah.
And what I did was I went to the same Mayo Clinic to get a second opinion. And that is where I was able to make an informed decision. They laid it out for me. My doctor specifically said, you can ask 10 doctors. 5 of them will say you should do it. 5 of them will say you shouldn't do it. They laid out the numbers for me. And it just, in my case, it didn't make sense. But, in some cases it does. So it's just really about, one of the things that the doctor said to me is she said, if, let's say 10 years down the line, you have a recurrence, are you going to be at peace with this decision? That's how you should gauge it. It's not, is there a right answer? Is there a wrong answer?
Right.
That's not it. What do you want for your life? What decision is going to be the one that you have peace with no matter what? And so that helped me make my decision. It's also about asking the right questions, not just asking any questions when you go to what are the right questions? And what I asked my oncologist, not at the Mayo, but my primary oncologist, I said, what would you do if you were in my position? What would you do? And that helped me make my decision as well, because she said, well, given all the factors and the small percentage of, additional survival years or whatever, if you do chemo, it's like 1 or 2%. So for me, she said, for her, it didn't make sense. So it's all about asking the right questions. And somebody alluded to it earlier, if you don't have support, or you don't have people to like kind of come with you, because when you're hearing all this stuff, you're sitting in the doctor's office, they're throwing all this information at you, it literally goes through one ear and out the other. You're not really processing it, you're in survival mode, so you're not catching everything. And so having somebody on the phone, if somebody can't come with you, just having an extra person there makes a world of a difference, just to hear things that you didn't hear, or give you a different perspective, because you absolutely have time to make an informed decision. Do not let anybody rush you into making a decision that's life-changing. If it makes sense for you based on everything they lay out for you, then so be it. And then also, of course, yes, that combination approach. I did radiation treatment, 33 rounds, I think 30 rounds of radiation. And then I also changed my lifestyle. I cut out alcohol. I, did vegan for a little bit. I started juicing green juices every day. Like, there's so many things that we can do within our control that makes a difference. And I think the Western medicine industry does a disservice because they don't talk about that at all the things that you can do that are in with your control to change the trajectory of your health. So
I love that.
That's great. That's great. Washington, I'm going to actually come back to you on that regarding diet. But Dr. Tisha, I wanted to pivot to you for a moment. What are your thoughts on that when it comes to Western diet and medicine and whatnot? Like, it is sometimes said that food is medicine, right? But how do doctors view that? What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess I'll just speak broadly because as I'm not a physician, but I will just say that, you know, our bodies are a system, and everything plays a role in our health and our health outcomes. And I will say as well, from what everybody has shared, there is if it's okay for me to read this really quick, there's a quote that we have from one of our studies where one of the themes that came out of the entire study, and these were all Black women with triple negative breast cancer, was that advocacy was what would give you the advantage actually in your breast cancer experience. And so I'm gonna just read this quote really quick, where the participant says, "I really feel that being an advocate for yourself is the most important thing that you can do in this lifetime, regardless of what the situation is, regardless of what a diagnosis is. Because if you walk in and you're uninformed, some people don't see you as having a voice. It doesn't matter if you have insurance or if you have great insurance or not. You have to advocate for yourself, because I really feel if I didn't get online and start researching doctors and just out doing my own research with people who have the disease and got past it and just taking my life and meditating and just being positive, I don't think that I would be here." And so I think it just directly aligns with everything that you guys have been saying, the importance of that. And I think so around the question of diet, I think all of these things matter, but it is very much a personal decision. And I think I love what you said, watching around, looking at where, you know, where do you want your life to go? What is it that you want to do? And factoring that into how you make these decisions. Because there is no cookie cutter. I know we do have standards, but that doesn't mean that that is the path for everybody. And so I just applaud you ladies for doing what you felt was best for yourself. And, you know, even coming on the call this morning, you all are thriving and doing wonderful given the decisions that you made.
Awesome. Jumping back for just a second, like I had mentioned, you know, diet. I'm curious, what does your diet look like today? Watching, you already alluded to doing green juices and giving up alcohol. I'm curious, are there any other things that you'd like to share when it pertains to diet?
Yes. So I am an excessive label reader because I look at if there's something that's going in my body, I'm looking at what is in it, you know, what are the ingredients. You know, my husband is vegan, so naturally I'm more I'm not completely vegan, but I'm more plant-based because of that. But I mean, diet looks like just really trying to nourish my body. You know, before diagnosis, I was, you know, the standard American diet, you know, we eat all the different things. And what I've done now, because I'm so intentional about my health, is, you know, I work with a functional medicine doctor to like really do my blood work and tell me like what foods work for me and what foods work for my body and what foods don't work for my body, because that goes back to making an informed decision. There's so much, if you look on the internet and do your research, there's like so much controversy and like differing opinions around, is the keto diet the best, is the vegan diet the best, what, you know, it can drive you insane if you go down the rabbit hole. But it's all about your own like genetic makeup and what's best for you. So I would say my diet looks like a diet that is very mindful of like what I put into my body. I read all labels, you know, for things, because I truly, this is me personally, believe that a lot of the synthetic ingredients and things in the food that we eat are contributing to more and more cancer diagnosis. And so just being very aware, try to eat whole foods. I cook most of the time, I cook a lot, and just being mindful and trying to nourish my body. Juicing, I think I recommend it to, you know, to everyone as far as getting the most nutrients in your body in one sitting. It's very, very time consuming, but it's worth it. I always say you are investing in your health. There's nothing I won't do to invest in better health for myself. So I juice multiple times a week and make sure that I'm nourishing my body.
Love that. Love that. Do you have a favorite? Favorite juice?
Yeah, I'll do like a apple, ginger, kale, spinach, and lemon.
That sounds
Yes, yep,
good.
yep. Juicing is a good way because then you can mask, like the taste of you can make it really,
Yeah.
juicy and sweet tasting. So it's a good way to nourish your body. I encourage everyone to juice.
Love
Love
that.
it. Love it. Dr. Tiana, diet. What would you say for yourself?
Same, whole
Same.
food. And if sugar is in the first 3 ingredients, I don't eat it.
Okay.
Unless it's like intentional, like dessert or something, right? But
Mhm.
largely, I pretty much stick to kind of an 80-20 kind of rule where it's, 80% of my diet is whole fruits and vegetables, whole grains. And then that other 20 is like my treats and things like that. But yeah, also cook a lot. I love to cook. So we do cook a lot at home. And also like Watson noted, like working with the integrative doctor to understand my food sensitivities and what what causes imbalance in my body and in my digestive system has really been a game changer. I learned like just this year that I'm sensitive to coffee, so I can't drink coffee, right? Like
Yeah.
who would have even known that, right? And it was something I drank like a couple times a week. And so but it has changed just my energy and like how I feel. Like it was making me feel not great. And I didn't even know that that was one of the causes, right? I think it is important to, as I said before, be educated. Educate yourself, not just on those external things that you can do. Educate yourself on your body and what you can do to maintain a high level of health overall.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Daniela, same question to you. Diet. What's that look like for you?
I've got some landscaping company out here at my house, and they're right outside my window right now. So sorry about that. But I've complete lifestyle change upon my diagnosis. Oh my God, they're right at my window right now too. But complete lifestyle change upon diagnosis. After diagnosis, of course, I went back to some of the things, but not as nearly as much. I'm a big juicer as well. Fresh pressed juices. And I do lots of fasting too, water fasting, and just I look at food so differently. It was kind of upon my first diagnosis. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at food as the enemy. Like it was kind of really scary to me because it's just I had triple negative. And with triple negative, they really don't know what is feeding the cancer. From my research, triple negative usually only accounts for about 20% of individuals' breast cancer, and it does primarily affect African American. I believe is it 40 or under, primarily 40 or 50 under. So to me, I was like, it's gotta be the food. So I still have a weird thought process around food, but I also, through my research, I feel in the US, we eat a lot more than we honestly probably even should be eating. Like people have huge hearty breakfasts, huge hearty lunches, huge hearty dinners, then desserts. So I've just cut out and just do inadvertent fasting. And when you change your diet, your metabolism changes. So I don't even crave food the amount is what I used to prior to diagnosis. And I had just a lot healthier snacks, and you're just a lot more intentional of what you put into your body. So it's not to say that now if I want a burger, I won't get a burger or something like that, but I'm just a lot more intentional of everything and what I put into my body.
Love that.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, with the time that we do have left, I do want to give each of you a moment to speak to that woman who actually, let me jump back for just a second. There was a question that I had seen. It said, one of the registrants said, why do I lack confidence and feel insecure since my diagnosis? And so I want you to speak, for each one of you to speak to that woman. Let's lift her up and give her some reassurances, if you will. What would you say to that woman?
Oh. Well, I'll start. It's natural to feel that way. I felt that way too. I almost felt like I failed myself in my body. Like I felt like maybe did I drink one too many Red Bulls, one too many McDonald's? Like you literally feel like you caused this upon yourself. So you just feel so like, although my hair didn't fall completely out, my hair texture was like 4 or 5 different textures in one. So you just, your confidence gets taken away initially, but after a while, you know what? It's like I done walked something down with a smile on my face. I did
Okay.
something y'all couldn't walk a mile in my shoes. And so you gain that confidence back and you just feel like I went through something traumatic. But guess what? I beat it. I'm a warrior. So just pour into yourself and but just know it's natural what you're feeling. But I also want to say cancer is nothing. There's so many carcinogens in the world, sadly, the pollution, the air, the water, it's so don't ever feel bad like I did if this is something I did. Yes, there's things that we can do to help prevent, but they can never pinpoint you caused this. So don't be hard upon yourself, whether it be that or just your aesthetics. Because like I said, you done went through something and beat something that a lot of people could not. So give yourself kudos on that.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, Dr. Tiana, what would you say to that woman? Would she ask, why do I lack confidence and feel insecure since my diagnosis?
I think what Daniela mentioned of it being kind of a normal part of the process is accurate. I think that it's okay to feel it, right? What I want you to be remembering and reframing is how to not get stuck in that feeling.
Yes.
Right? Feelings are meant to inform, not to dictate.
Yes.
Okay? So if you feel that way, right, I want you to get curious. Why do I feel like that? What is coming up for me, right? That's making me feel that way, right? And once you have that understanding, you will naturally know what the best next step is going to be, right? But often what we do is we ignore those feelings, we stuff them down, we ignore them, we suppress them because we feel like we should not have them, which is wild because it is part of our humanity. It is a normal part of our humanity. It is an expected emotion, a totally normal thing to experience. And there's no shame in it. The shame is staying in it.
Yep.
Right. And so knowing that you have the ability to move past it again, not necessarily eliminating it, because some things may not be able to be eliminated, but they can be managed with wisdom. And so I want you to be thinking about how can you do that? How can you move forward and move through that so that it will eventually be minimized and eventually you won't even think about it anymore. Right. And I also, to Danella's point of like feeling like you caused it, that's totally normal and part of, I think, that grief process of like being like, I need to pinpoint this because I need an answer, right? But ultimately, what I want you to be thinking about and understanding is kind of what Dr. Tisha mentioned earlier of like your body being a system. Right. And so if something is coming up, a disease, whether it's breast cancer or any other disease, it's your body trying to communicate something to you.
Yeah.
So what I often find, and I haven't done studies on this, right? But I've talked to enough women. And what often happens, and even for myself, I literally got my diagnoses at a time in my life where I had been working, climbing, doing all these things and accomplishing. And once I kind of got to that peak and things kind of calmed down and I kind of was just a little steady, that's immediately when my diagnoses happened, right? And that's happened to a lot of women that I know. And what that is it's your body saying, oh my gosh, you finally have time for me.
Yeah.
I have a message for you.
Yeah.
And we have generally ignored it, pushed past it, right? As Black women, we just gonna keep going. We gonna ignore all the red flags, all the pink flags, all the stop signs. We just gonna keep going full force, right? And then we're smacked in the face, and we're like, oh, I need to be paying attention. And I have so many women that I have to say to them, hey, this is not something, your body did not betray you. This is not something to be fighting, right? Like, I hate all of the marketing around breast cancer. You are not fighting your body. You are seeking to understand what it's trying to communicate to you. And when you do that, you will have all the clarity that you need. And there will be no shame. There will be no issue. Like, I think you and I talked about this, right? Like, I have people often that will inbox me and be like, what herbalist did you use? What naturopathic stuff did you use? I have a series, The Doctor Said Cancer Came Back, that's on YouTube, right? So I get a lot of people asking me questions like, what tummy tuck can I use to help make sure this doesn't happen, right? And I always tell people, I can give you all of the cheat codes and all of the herbs and vitamins and all the things. But if you have a corrupt spirit, if you have unforgiveness in your heart and you're bitter and you're angry about the life that you've experienced or how people have mishandled you, if you have guilt about something that has happened in your life and your spirit is downtrodden, it doesn't matter what you take because your body is still in dis-ease. So whether the disease happens externally in your environment, like Daniela was saying, whether it's pollution or whatever, or it's an internal dis-ease, it shows up as disease. And so if you are looking at a disease and you're like, I done ruled out every single external factor that I can think of, then it's time for you to go internal. What's happening in your internal environment that's causing dis-ease in your body? And what is your body trying to communicate to you? When you figure that out and you understand that, and only you can figure that out, you will lose. I'm going to tell you what you're going to lose. You're going to lose the fear of it coming back. You're going to lose that anxiety of feeling like, oh my gosh, like that something's going to blow up at any second. All of that will dissipate because you no longer are betraying yourself. You've stopped long enough to check in, to figure out what is happening, right? Those life changes that we're talking about are not anomalies. They're actually how God created for us to live. We just have gotten so far off the path that we're eating all this processed crap and stuff out of cans and, high sodium in the freezer, right? We have lost touch with how we were designed and how our bodies were created to function. And so when that happens, we have to have a reckoning. There has to be a recalibration. And I tell people often, breast cancer was an unexpected invitation for me to return to myself.
Beautiful way to put it. Yeah.
Like that is the thesis, okay? And so I want you to take that with you. And if you need to borrow our hope and our courage until you find your own, do that. Do that. But do not stay there. Do not stay there. Let those feelings inform you. Do not let them dictate how you move through this.
Thank you for that, Dr. Tiana. Appreciate that. Watching, do you want to follow that up?
No, I think Dr. Tiana, I would just say to give yourself grace. Give yourself so much grace. I mean, if you just think about everything, I sit and I ponder often, like everything on this journey. And again, for everyone, it's different. We all go through different treatments, but just as women, we carry so much. And then you go through this diagnosis and you're carrying something really heavy. It's so heavy. It's so just beyond what you could even imagine. You're carrying it. A lot of people don't understand how much it is, how taxing it can be to just get up and still push through, and do everything you need to do. And so you have to give yourself grace. You're grieving your old life. You had a life prior to diagnosis, and now you have a new life that can be and can be better than it was before, but you really have to be intentional about that again, and just give yourself so much grace. I mean, it's a journey, but you're a force to be reckoned with. If you can get through everything you've been through, you are a force to be reckoned with. And when those thoughts start to come, you just speak back to them, speak back to your strength. You speak to everything you've been through. This journey made me so much so unapologetic. Like I said, I don't take a lot of things that I used to tolerate before, and I really am taking care of myself to the fullest. I don't allow anyone to make me feel shame or less confident or whatever, you know, because I'm putting myself first. And like Dr. Tiana said, that resonated with me so much. You know, it's an invitation to change your life, and once you have that mindset, you know, the possibilities are endless. So I just encourage you to speak back to those thoughts and give yourself grace, because it's a journey. Yeah.
I think you all of you gave her such wonderful advice, and hopefully she hears this and she sees this, and it will go out into the world, and you never know where it'll land. So thank you to all of you for being on the panel today. Very last thing, one word to sum up our time together. Dr. Tisha, one word.
Amazing.
Daniela.
Light. I hope this can bring light to others on this same journey, and sadly those that are coming, because there's many women out there who have yet to be diagnosed, but sadly they will. I hope that we can give them light and hope.
Thank you. Dr. Tiana.
Flourish.
Thank you. And last but not least, watching.
Faith.
Love it.
It's definitely
I think it's a
faith journey.
beautiful place to park it. Thank you so much for joining me on the panel. Thank you to everyone who is watched or been a part of or shared. This has been absolutely amazing. I think I sense that there should be a second part, but we'll talk about that offline. This is just wonderful. So hopefully you found it informative. For those of you who registered, you will get an email with those resource documents and a few other things. And thank you so much for joining today. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.